coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor. This is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jillian Toman, and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. Your taxes may be going up, but road quality will be too. The City of Windsor is looking at approving a tax levy to help repair the city's streets. Aaron Saunders reports.
The road to recovery. A revised road tax levy is in the air following an executive committee meeting on November 23rd. The proposal was an incremental tax levy of 0.5% or roughly $2 million to be used for repairing and reconstructing the city's roads. Ward 9 Councillor Hillary Payne has been requesting the tax levy and says he is confident about the proposal.
I'm pretty confident because it's all of us councillors have issues in our wards where the roads need reconstruction or rehabilitation, and there's 38% of the roads in the city are deficient.
With the current city budget, the roads poor in very poor conditions would increase to 196 kilometers to 358 in 20 years. The proposed 0.5% tax levy would decrease the negative conditions to about 73 kilometers. For the average homeowner, that would be a tax increase of $14. On the bright side, our West End Outreach Coordinator Tamara Murray says she has seen some improvements to the West End's roads.
We've seen some really great improvements along the Wind Up West business strip, and the beautification has created the community coming together, and some of the businesses are filling themselves in naturally.
Payne says the roads are a more concerning issue when it comes to the city.
This is an internal one to do a better job, if you will, or a quicker job, if you will, of reconstructing a major city asset, which is of course the city roadways.
Okay, so mark that calendar, because on December 21st, City Council will come together in their budget meeting to make a decision on the road tax levy. Whether if it's sticking with the current budget or initiating that tax levy, one thing is for certain: the City of Windsor is prepared for the long road ahead. This would be Aaron Sanders reporting for MediaPlex News.
St. Clair College has opened its doors to the public in its most recent open house, and John Hutton was there to catch the action.
The St. Clair College Journalism Open House kicked off on Saturday, with students and professionals alike visiting the MediaPlex on University and Victoria Avenue. Potential students got to browse and utilize state-of-the-art equipment, talk to professors, and ask students about their experience in the program. Aaron Warren is a potential student that decided to attend the open house.
It's awesome. I mean, it looks like a great place to go. You know, it's one of 3 in the world, if I'm right. Can't wait to come here next year if they accept me. I'll be applying as soon as I can so I can come here.
Coordinator Veronique Mandel believes that open houses like this one are a great way to showcase the program and answer any questions potential students may have about journalism.
People or older people who want to get into the media world, an opportunity to come and see how the real world really works. Because what's extraordinary about our program is that we teach across all platforms: radio, television, print, and online digital.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Jonathan Hutton.
Let's go down to the corner of University in Victoria, where our weather specialist Katie Panasic is standing by. Katie?
Thanks, Jillian. December has officially started, but it still remains a sharp 6 degrees out tonight. I'll be back later in the show with your 3-day weather forecast. Back to you, Jillian.
Thank you, Katie. Windsorites dolled up recently to attend Artistry of Windsor Essex at Caesars. Mark Brown has the story.
The sounds of music and conversation filled the Augustus Ballroom at Caesars Windsor as people attended a reception called the Artistry of Windsor Essex. The Windsor Endowment of the Arts scheduled this event as part of their annual general meeting. Not only does it serve as a fundraiser for the endowment that supports the arts here in Windsor Essex, but it also honors somebody who has strong connections to the area. Dr. Eric Jackman is the former chancellor at the University of Windsor and a philanthropist. He and his brothers have committed over $1 million to a new facility for the university's theater program. The WEA extended an invitation to Dr. Jackman to honor him.
It's a great opportunity for us to recognize his generosity, to thank him for enriching the arts in Windsor and Essex.
Multiple area artists were invited to display a wide variety of their artwork, from paintings to sculpture to custom jewelry. The Art Gallery of Windsor helped bring these artists together.
We've helped with a number of things. We're supporters just in general of the arts that are available to enjoy this evening. and we're happy, of course, to share in celebrating Dr. Jackman's legacy in the arts.
Attendees were treated as well to music from a jazz group and a performance by theater students from the university, one of many groups to benefit from the philanthropy of the reception's honoree. From Caesars Windsor for MediaPlex News Now, I'm Mark Brown.
Visual art shows were not the only arts event in town recently. A classical music concert filled the city with Beethoven, and Samantha Wigfield was there.
Fourth Wall Music presents The Artist Unmasked, featuring Beethoven. Roughly 60 people attended the 8th show the group has put on, not just focusing on the artist, but what his life was like and how he was as a man. The founder and artistic director, Amy Lay, says support in the group has been difficult, but they're working towards being a non-profit organization.
One of the main challenges is funding as a starting organization. A lot of the performers are friends or friends of friends who are willing to donate their time or do it for a minimal fee. But we have a high criteria as far as we only will hire the top professionals of the fields.
The group hopes parents will bring their children to cultural events like this one and have a separate playroom for children who get antsy. The youngest performer, 13-year-old Andrew Harris, said he's hoping to participate in international competitions when he's older.
Win competitions, mostly the Chopin. I kind of want to win that one.
What's that?
The Chopin competition is a huge competition in Russia, probably the highest national standard in the world, I believe.
The show featured a guest speaker, Mary Peckett-Apt, as well as 3 musical artists to showcase Beethoven's works. Music lovers should keep an ear out for their next upcoming concerts. I'm Samantha Wakefield for MediaPlex News Now.
The mayor stopped by the Mediaplex. He was interviewed by Abbas Wali in this episode of 3 Minutes With.
Hello, I'm Abbas Wali and welcome to 3 Minute with Mayor Drew Dilkens. So Drew Dilkens, did you achieve your goals for your first year in office?
Well, today, as a matter of fact, happens to be the first year, or at least the 1-year anniversary since the election. The actual term started on December the 1st, and so we're well into the first year of the term. And with respect to the objectives, what I really hope to accomplish this year was really to start to set the stage moving forward for the next few years on council, and of course moving forward for the next 20 years with the creation of a 20-year strategic plan for the city. So we're well underway on that. We're well through the public consultation period on that 20-year plan, and I'm excited about how far we've come in the first nearly 1 year.
What improvement will see Windsor in the years to come?
Well, I think our primary objective certainly is to focus on employment. We recognize we still have high unemployment, and we're doing everything we can to create the environment that's worthy of investment, but also to try and diversify our economy using the skill sets that we have here in the community. And so there's been a lot of focus on economic development and job creation because that's really important for our community today.
How can Windsor's voice will be heard, and provincially or federally?
Well, that's been a topic of much conversation since the federal election last week, and we've elected members both at the provincial and federal level who aren't part of government at either level. But it really, you have to rely on the networks that you have and the contacts that you have as a community, and then it's also incumbent upon me as mayor and city councilors to reach out to the contacts that we have that we need to reach in order to make sure that we can secure the investment that we need for the community, to make sure that our voice and our ideas are heard so that we're included as part of the planning mix at both the provincial and federal levels.
We heard that there is a new airline will start its flight from Windsor International Airport as soon as December. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. We've been working for over a year to try and attract another airline with direct service from the city of Windsor. So we have National Airlines, which operates out of Orlando Sanford Airport. They start operations on the 17th of December. They will have nonstop flights between Windsor and Orlando twice a week on Thursdays and Sundays. And they have a great looking plane. It's a fantastic plane, especially for a tall guy like me. They've got lots of room in economy class. And I think people are really going to like the service direct from Windsor. We've moved a lot of things along at Windsor Airport, having one airline in the past, Air Canada with service to Toronto. Now we have Air Canada, we have Porter, we have WestJet, we have Sunwing, we have National, and we also have AirTran, who's going to be offering service to Cancun. So there's some exciting things happening at the airport. We see that as an area for future investment and future development, and we think there's going to be a lot of good things happening there as we move forward in the next few years as well.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Abbas Wali, and this has been 3 Minutes with Mayor Drew Dilkens.
And now back to Katie one more time for the full weather report. What can we expect for the next few days, Katie?
Lots of people are hoping for a white Christmas this year, and it looks like it has 25 days to actually make that happen. Let's take a look at what we can expect for the rest of the week. It looks like 6s are going to be wild. Wednesday, we can expect showers with a high of 6 and a low of 1. Thursday, it dries up with a mix of sun and clouds, a high of 6 and a low of 1. And Friday, it will be mainly sunny with a high of 6 and a low of -1. That's all for me from the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you in the studio, Jillian.
Thank you, Katie. The holidays can be a lonely time for international students. Taylor Bush tells us more.
As Christmas quickly approaches, thousands of exchange students across Canada are bracing themselves for another holiday far from home. Over the past decade, Canada has seen an 84% increase in international students, according to the Canadian Bureau for International Education, and they now account for roughly 1/10 of all post-secondary populations. Claire Marimbe, a student at the University of Windsor, is from Nigeria and plans to spend her break in residence.
They've started having some Christmas spirit, so I feel like I'm at home, which is okay for me. And yeah, I miss my family, but I've made a lot of friends and they make me feel at home, so I'm doing okay for now.
Marquis, a recent graduate, says the holidays are a difficult time for him as he has not seen his family in over 2 years.
Yeah, I miss them so much. Yeah, I can't wait to go back to China and to meet them. Chinese New Year is coming, so probably I will book my flight tickets in this week.
For over 10 years, Enrique Chacon has worked for the university as an advisor to the school's growing international student population. He is also the coordinator of Host for the Holidays, a program aiming to match exchange students with local families for one enriching meal. Chacon says the program is expecting to place up to 200 students this year and needs more families to sign up.
We have 80 different countries, 2,863 international students, so we do what we can to help them experience Canadian culture, right? Because Christmas is a big part of Canadian culture. Even if they don't celebrate Christmas, they don't really mind. Actually, Christmas is a really nice celebration either way, so you don't have to be Christian to enjoy it.
Marquis was one of the many students who took part in last year's Host for the Holidays event and says he got a lot out of the experience. For more information on this program or to fill out an application, visit the university's website. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Taylor Bush.
Speaking of the holidays, St. Clair College is putting on a festive show for the season. Alana Wills got a behind-the-scenes look.
Students in the Music Theater Performance program at St. Clair College are gearing up for their Christmas show. The show is a collaboration between first, second, and third years, as well as the Entertainment Technology program, and is being directed by program coordinator Catherine Kazaa.
You're seeing them without costumes and lights and all the accoutrements that make the evening so special. We have piano here only today, and of course there'll be a large orchestra in the pit, as well as costumes and makeup and pyrotechnics and all the wonderful things that we do when we go downtown.
Planning for the show starts in September with daily rehearsals.
We have every Saturday. And then rehearsals after school. We usually start class at 9 and we'll finish rehearsals till 6. So we're here almost every day from 9 till 6.
The theme for this year's show is the 20th century, featuring Christmas songs mixed with pop and rock music, and takes place in mid-December at the Chrysler Theater. For MediaPlex News, I'm Alana Wills.
Our resident geeks have been diving into the world of pop culture to bring you the latest episode of E Squared. Take it away, geeks.
Hello, geeks and nerds. I'm Nate Tremblay.
I'm Rhiannon Lotz.
And I'm Caleb Borkman. And this is E Squared.
Today, we have a review of the latest Bond film and a look at the best villains in video games.
But first, the news. In our first story, Marvel has recently confirmed the cast for the upcoming Doctor Strange. The film will star Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Rachel McAdams, Michael Stuhlbarg, Mads Mikkelsen, and Tilda Swinton. Doctor Strange will be directed by Scott Derrickson, who is known for his work in the movie Sinister. Marvel has announced that the movie will be released on November 14th of next year. In other news, Mockingjay Part 2 was recently released and fans flocked to see it. But it seems Katniss Everdeen has lost some fans when it comes to the last chapter in this story. Mockingjay Part 2's opening weekend only made $101 million. That's still a large sum of money, but falls short in comparison to the previous 3 movies, all grossing around $150 million for their openings. It's sad to see Pan Am end this way. And now, we'll move to Rhiannon Lotz for a review.
Bond is back and has left some moviegoers neither shaken nor stirred, but rather a little flat. Daniel Craig reprised his role as a suave spy for the 4th time in Spectre, the latest installment of the Bond franchise. The film served up a breakneck pace of adventure and a heart-stopping dose of action. From Mexico to Rome, Austria to Morocco, and finally back to England, the destinations were enthralling for Spectre spectators. The stunts were even more thrilling, especially in the opening scenes where Bond brought down the house, literally, and did battle in midair, all in the midst of an enormous Day of the Dead celebration in Mexico. However, the villain of this film, played by the uber-talented Christoph Waltz, fell, for some, below expectations. It wasn't the fault of the actor in this case, but rather the writers and director. Franz Oberhauser, the name of the baddie inspector, was simply not given enough screen time or written with enough depth. Overall, this film is a 7 out of 10. For moviegoers searching for high adrenaline action, Spectre is excellent. However, people looking for profound characters may feel disappointment. James disappointment. And now, over to Caleb Workman.
Today, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite baddies in video games. This week, I'll be sharing 3 of them with you guys. Let's start with Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2. But Caleb, why isn't he your number 1? Because he's only a nice face. When it comes to fighting him, there's not much of a challenge. Second, Ganon from The Legend of Zelda. The menace of menaces, the mean of the mean. This jerk offers everything you want in your classic villain: power, magic, and a timeless personality. Lastly, Sephiroth. This evil human god soldier shows us the fallibility of man and the long fall pride produces. A very challenging foe for our boy Cloud. Make sure you check out my top 5 in the link below. And now, let's head back to the news desk.
And that's all for us today, so until next time, may the odds be ever in your favor.
May the force be with you.
And remember, E² will be back.
Last Friday, the movie Tug of War screened at the University of Windsor, courtesy of the Windsor Islamic Association and the Muslim Students Association. The film is about radicalization in society and how to deal with it. It was well attended and many felt there was a positive outcome.
Well, the movie is meant to be a conversational and educational tool to address the issue of radicalization. It's a topic that we know it's spoken about quite frequently in the media, and a lot of times there isn't really a Muslim voice to help bring perspective to that discussion. So part of the goal of this film was actually to bring in a project that can actually address some of the inner workings of some of these young people that actually get caught up in this issue of radicalization, and how we as a community can help solve this problem.
This is basically an event by the community for the community, because the topic of radicalization is a very real issue, and it's something that we do need to talk about. And so this is something that we've done with the community in mind, and to help sort of raise awareness and get us all talking about this issue.
Tyler Bozenot hosts a special guest in this episode of 3 Minutes With.
Hello, my name is Tyler Boisseneau, and this is 3 Minutes With, and today my guest is Gil Langlois from Essex 73s. How are you doing today, Gil?
Very good, thank you.
That's good. So last night's game, you come back from a 3-5 with only 14 seconds left in the period, only to lose in overtime. What were you doing as a coach during the 3rd period, during the overtime, and even after the game to make sure to control the team?
Well, for starters, a lot of that's done by our leadership group on the ice, the players themselves, especially on the forward side of things, although our success last night came from some of the rookies, but we've been in those situations before, so that experience really dictates what happens there, between the coaching staff who've been there before to the players themselves. So our conversation with them, our message to them was stay the course, our game plan is solid, execute, don't give up, outwork, and that kind of stuff. And we were happy to pull our goalie and get those 2 quick goals. It was disappointing from our standpoint because we should never have been in that situation, but that's why you play the game.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of those rookies, I understand that there's a lot of new players actually on this team. What are you doing to build the teamwork between those guys to make sure that you can have the best overall team?
Well, I think teamwork for us, anyways, for Essex, is pivotal in our success. And I think it's one of those intangibles that you cannot underestimate. I mean, the NHL's been filled with teams that on paper they looked excellent, and yet they didn't have success on the ice. The on-ice product wasn't there. And, you know, in our league, it's no different. So we start off right at the beginning of the year. Once we pick our team, we have some weekends away where we do team building, team bonding events. It's things that we carry out throughout the entire season. We have a cruise that we go on in January, and it's all meant to bring the boys together. So when they step onto the ice, you know, that old one for all and all for one kind of mentality is there. And I think that in the long run, when you get in those real tight games and those games where everything's on the line, that kind of you know, camaraderie really is what can be the difference between winning and losing. Guys going that extra mile, sticking up for each other and that kind of stuff.
Awesome. So, as well as I understand that for the last 3 years you were finalists for the Schmaltz Cup and even champions. Do you feel that this team has what it takes to make a run for it? And if so, what will they need to do to make a run for it?
Well, I think every team at the beginning of the season's goal is to get to the dance, right? To get to that end, that last series, and we're no different. You know, how does this team compare to the last three? It's too early to tell. We're still finding our way. I think we picked up some very important parts with some young guys, and they're still finding their way through the league. Our goaltending is solid. You know, I think that if we continue to develop and maybe pick up a player here or there, that we can certainly be looking at playing into end of April, early May, which is, you know, whatever everybody's goal is.
Excellent. Well, that's all the time we have today for 3 Minutes With. I'd like to thank you so much, Gil, for coming on. And until next time, this is Tyler Boissonneau for MediaPlex News.
The hard work and effort put into the St. Clair College soccer teams has been paying off. Abbas Wali reports.
The head coach of the St. Clair College's women's soccer team has saw his hard work and dedication with the team played off. Steve Winini has been awarded the OCAA Women's Soccer Coach of the Year this past season.
Good accomplishment. I felt great because it's a team accomplishment. I felt good for the whole program because it's something that we set out to do, and you know, awards are always nice. It's a nice pat on the back, but ultimately these individual awards are attained as a team. We did this as a team. My players helped me win that award.
He started his career from the University of Windsor and since then has worked for different organizations.
I started in 2000. I coached 10 years at the University of Windsor as an assistant coach with the men and the women. And then I went to the Canadian Soccer League. I coached the Windsor Stars, the local team, for 3 years. And then this job came up, and I applied for it, and fortunately I got it.
Nina Sibitris really enjoys being part of Winini's team.
Very proud of him. It was so exciting, especially to know that we were part of that team and we helped contribute to it. It was amazing.
After this week, the ladies get a full month of practice, but after the holidays will kick off their training in the new year. This has been Abbas Wali for MediaPlex News Now.
The St. Clair College Sportsplex had the 29th annual Freeds Tip-Off Tournament. Michael Hugel has the story.
The 29th annual Freeds Tip-Off Tournament was held this past weekend at the St. Clair College Sportsplex. The tournament is put on by the Catholic Central Comets and head coach Pete Kuzmano.
Well, it's a great tournament. We got great games, and this is good for us because we need to learn to play at elite level.
Top local talent was showcased at the tournament, from the Brennan Cardinals to the Kennedy Clippers and the St. Anne Saints from Tecumseh. Also showcased at the tournament was a provincial powerhouse in the St. Michael's High School from Toronto. St. Michael's went on to win the tournament, defeating Oakville Pine Ridge 54-49.
I'm not worried about where we're at right now. This is where we're going to be at the end of the year.
All of Windsor-Essex County's men's teams will tip off their season on December 3rd, and it just goes to show how much preparation is done during the Freeds tournament. For MediaPlex News, I'm Michael Hugel.
Continuing with sports, let's go now to Michael Hugel with an NBA Minute.
Thanks, Jillian. Put 60 seconds on the clock,
Your NBA Minute starts now. What's up, everyone? I'm Michael Hugel, and we have two major storylines developing in the National Basketball Association, both of them going on in the state of California. Now, unless you've been living under a rock since the season tipped off, you'll know the Golden State Warriors have been what the Spanish call en fuego, following a 19-0 start to the 2015-2016 season. Steph Curry and the squad downed the Utah Jazz last night to earn the 19th victory of the year. And what a year it has been from the guard out of Davidson. Curry is on pace for an MVP award as he is averaging 31 points and 6 assists in his first 19 games. The Warriors are being compared to the likes of the 71-72 Lakers and the 95-96 Bulls. What an accomplishment. Lastly, after 20 seasons in the NBA, the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, is calling it a career. In an open letter addressed Dear Basketball, Kobe explains it is not the lack of love for the game, but the physical toll his body is taking. Kobe is a 2-time Finals MVP and also a 5-time champion with LA. He is certainly going to go down as one of the best to ever lace up a pair of sneakers. Bryant returns home to the state of Philadelphia tonight to take on a dismal 76ers team. Could this be the last time we see Kobe Bean Bryant in midseason form? I can't wait to find out. And coming back from the timeout, we're giving it back to Jillian in the studio.
Looking good in winter is important. Melissa Munui explains.
Oh, hey there. Today I will give you all the DIY tips and tricks you need to know. And believe me, everything is found in your home. First, let's start off with the face. Everyone should know without healthy skin, you won't accomplish your makeup look of the day. But no worries, with the mix of a tablespoon of honey and yogurt, you will create the perfect 10-minute face mask. Why? Because the yogurt contains lactic acid, which gently exfoliates dead skin cells, and it also contains probiotics, which is great for healing blemishes. The honey naturally hydrates the skin since it is rich in antioxidants. Now, isn't that neat? Moving on to hair, with the cold winter here, many experience dry scalps. I know I do, but that's no worry because lemon juice will become your best friend. When squeezing lemon juice onto your hair, it helps remove built-up materials that make your hair heavy and limp. It can also remove excess oil without stripping away too much of the natural oil that your hair needs. So keep lemon juice as a part of your hair routine to maximize your hair and scalp health. Also, mixing olive oil and rose water together will create the perfect makeup remover. Thanks for tuning in. I hope these were some helpful beauty tips. Now to get back at fixing my lipstick.
Keeping warm is something we shouldn't take for granted. Denise Palaccia reports.
Thousands of people go each winter without the bare necessities. It's hard to think poverty exists in their community, but unfortunately, it exists everywhere. Poverty has no discrimination. It affects people of any age, gender, and ethnicity. Jason Grant, an employee at the Street Help Homeless Center, says he sees an increase in not only teens in new to the facility during the winter season, but adults as well.
We have, they can escape from the cold for a few hours or as long as they need. In case of extreme weathers, we open up our doors 24 hours. The more the people help out to help the homeless cope, the better their lives would be if we can all work together to help them out.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Denise Palaccia.
That's our show for tonight. I'm Jillian Toman, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.